Hey, I'm Jason.
And I'm Joe with Turpin.
We're here today to talk to you about aquatic plants.
How they can help your pond look more beautiful and help improve the quality of your ecosystem.
Joe, I'm really proud of how our water features come out, but it always amazes me how, whether they're people who are on the tour or homeowners talking about their water features, sometimes they just really look better than others. And I feel that that's mostly because of the aquatic plants.
It's true. The aquatic plants really change the dynamic of a pond and how it looks. With the different bloom times and the different hardies versus tropicals, it's wild to see how they can really grow into a pond and really create otherwise cold environment with all the rock look very alive, very vibrant, and very lush.
When you think aquatic plants, a lot of the time you think ponds, right? But there's also a lot to be said for fountains, for streams, and other types of water features that don't necessarily mean plants going into the pond.
Even as you're saying that, I'm thinking of rain gardens and wet, marshy areas possibly in your yard become great opportunities to plant aquatic plants in your backyard and incorporate that area right into your landscape.
I have this fountain outside my house in the front, and it's these really neat spillway bowls. My favorite time of the year for them is July, after the aquatic plants have grown up around it, and it's something that we put plants in each year.
Hi, I'm Sarah from Turpin Landscaping. I'm here today to show you how you can plant in and around spillway bowls, fountains, and other small water features. Today we have 13 aquatics that we are going to put in and around our newly installed spillway bowls. Some of your aquatics, as you pull them out of their containers, are going to be falling apart. You're going to have some loose soil. You can pull some of that off of the bottom. You don't need all of it. Just make sure you don't rip all of your roots off. Try to compact it down a little bit and give it a rinse. That way you can easily put that soil back together in a nice, firm, compacted spot, and it'll be easier to plant and it won't muddy up all the water. So this aquatic is going to have some beautiful purple flowers. So as I pull it out, remember to squeeze the bottom so you don't rip any part of the plant. It's really root bound. I'm going to try to break some of that up, but not too much. Get rid of some of the soil and some of those excess roots on the bottom that are really bulky. And I'm also going to take 2 fertilizer tablets and insert them deep into the aquatic and close it back up with the soil to see if I can get this to bloom a lot faster than it would normally without. All right, so most of the plants are planted around the bottom of the large basin here. The simplest way to do it, I'm going to show you, is to remove the rocks, get down to the basin. Of course, you've already removed a lot of the soil and fertilized any of your aquatics. So we're just going to push this down a little bit and we're going to cover it with rocks. And the idea is the roots will grow down into the basin where it continues to drink water and thrive. And then the final touch, you're going to take some easy water hyacinths and just drop them in. Got one on the bottom and one on the top, and we'll see how they do.
Typically, I recommend timing-wise to install your aquatic plant package usually the end of May and beginning of June. We recommend this time because of the coldness in our area. Sometimes you can get some late frost. Usually we have to wait till just after Mother's Day to make sure there is no more frost. But also the water temperature is a key factor. So a lot of the tropicals don't usually like to come into our colder water until probably the 1st or 2nd week of June. Some of the lotuses and tropical lilies, they like a warmer water.
We just got in our tropical lilies, so I'm going to add those. And the simplest way to do that is to take these cloth potters. We don't like putting big black pots in the pond. You can see them, you can't hide them very well, and we want the pond to look as natural as possible. So you're going to use your aquatic potting soil, dump it in. You're going to use quite a bit for this one. The reason I'm using such a large bag is because I want this lily to have enough room to grow throughout the entire season. I'm going to dump some of the existing water already in there. And again, you're going to shake and tap and get this out as gently as possible and lay it in there. Try to pull out your lilies pads that are already there so they don't get torn. Now, we fertilize these as soon as we begin planting them. We're going to do 2 scoops of the once-a-year fertilizer so that this lily can just continue to thrive all season, as well as 3 of the lily tablets, because we want to give this lily the best chance it has to continually put off blooms and spread throughout the pond. All right, so now that's all compacted in there, I'm going to add some more soil to it. Hold my lily pads up, compact all this in there. And these fabric pots are really easy to work with. Once you're done, you just fold them down. And then I'm going to be able to put this anywhere I want in the pond and cover it with rocks. Just really simple to do. So the difference between a hardy lily and a tropical lily is simple. The hardy lilies can withstand the winters that we have, and the tropical lilies cannot. So this is a hardy lily that has spent 3 years in this pond. It is well established and very healthy. At the end of the season, we cut back all the dead foliage and remove it from the pond, net the pond, and in the spring, when we open the pond, we fertilize the lilies first when we do our spring cleanouts. So this lily's already been fertilized once this year, and it is thriving. Now, as the season progresses, the leaves, the lily pads begin to turn brown, yellow, and rip as new ones are growing. So you want to remove those as that happens. It's really simple. You're going to grab the lily pad, take your other hand and follow it as deep as you can go, all the way down to the bottom, and just pull it out. And you're going to do that with every bad lily pad on there. Now, the blooms open and close depending on whether you have a day blooming or a night blooming lily, and after a few days they do die as new ones are coming in. The way to tell if your bloom is done is if when you squeeze it, water comes out of it. And you're going to do the same thing as you did with your lily pads. You're going to follow the stem all the way down to the base of the lily, and you're just going to pull. Now, after I'm done removing all of the dead lily pads and trash that may have built up around it, I'm going to clean off all the lily pads, and I'm also going to fertilize this lily once a month throughout the season so it can continue to show its beautiful color and continue to spread and give us coverage over the pond to protect the fish and keep the balance just the way it's supposed to be.
I think it's important to have the hardies in there because they're important for the ecosystem that come back in the spring earlier on than anything else. But then if you fill in with your annuals, that's where you really get your wow factor. And those annuals can be used as tropicals if you want to take them inside and bring them back out.
That balance between annuals and hardies really makes the pond come alive. The deep-rooted structure of those hardy plants really uptakes a lot of nutrients from deep down in the gravel. As well, those annuals they've just put in, they are great at sucking up tons of excess nutrients and really draining your pond from all that otherwise unsightly debris that causes so much pain and headache in the form of algae.
I know that when we started building ponds and water features, and I told my mom, hey, I need aquatics, she was scared to death of it. And I feel like a lot of people go through that because you're not sure what you're getting into. And my advice is just have some fun with it. We're always here to help you. I feel that the water features that look the best are the ones that install some annuals or tropicals each year that allow that water feature to look just a little bit different, but it also really gives us that extra pop.
The water features that do have the aquatic plants always look better. It's just You can't beat that symbiosis between the plants and the fish and the full ecosystem of the pond working together and creating a really great feature.
Keep making those water features look awesome, and until next time, keep building your outdoor dreams.